Hello, thank you for tuning into this video. I just want to share some revelations I've had. Oh, shit, this table is I'm gonna try to not touch it too much, but basically, this video is about being nice equals fake, and this is a revelation that I've just had. I'm reading this book. I started reading it yesterday called Not Nice, and it's really interesting because this is a thing that I've suffered for so long and I didn't even know I had it. And the concept of being nice, obviously it's something that, sounds nice, but in reality, what it really translates into is a lot of people pleasing, a lot of not making people uncomfortable, a lot of this type of activities that is like kind of like holding yourself back, stifling yourself. But anyway, this book, Not Nice, I really recommend it. It made me realize so basically, what happened here in Romania a few days ago was that I got into this taxi and the guy was like this passive aggressive asshole because I had the idea because I met some like really cool people in the taxi here in Romania. So I thought to myself, wow, I should like make an effort to befriend or something these taxis, or I don't know, this like Ubers. Like there's some really interesting people I've met. And so I got into this Uber and this guy was like passive aggressive, but in a way that it was like, I felt the bad vibe, but I kind of was like, okay, I'm going to try to be nice, and he just kept being like an asshole, but subtly, and like, just like there were so many things that happened like or in the conversation that when I got out of the taxi and came into my apartment, I had like this horrible feeling, like it was like anger towards him, anger towards myself, that I didn't like say anything. It was like a feeling of being like how do you say, it was like almost like a pent up feeling, like impotence. Like it just felt so bad, and I was like, why do I feel so bad? Like it was nothing really that bad in the conversation. Like he didn't like insult me, or like we didn't like have like any like real, horrible thing that happened. But I do feel like really bad, and then I started thinking, I was like, well, he was a fucking like. There was so many things during the conversation that were like subtly mean, subtly wrong, and I didn't do anything about it. And that feeling kind of like was like making me rot inside. So I realized like, oh, it's I've read about assertion and I've understood, but I kind of forgot about it or something. Like I was like, yeah, just conflict avoidance. It's not worth it. Just try to befriend people. But I was still not free from the nice cage. And in this book, Not Nice, it really does a good job at the beginning to explain like what this is a whole myth. Being nice, like it's really fear. It's really nothing. It's not what it looks like. It's really not. You're gonna have to read the book to understand more of the subtle points, but it's a complete falsity, and it's not like being an asshole or whatever, but being, real. Like being nice is like the opposite of being real. Like we try to be nice, we try to like, but it's really like coming out of fear. It's not coming out of genuine, out of some genuine place. It's fear. It's like conflict avoidance, people pleasing. All this shit is it's completely negative, and it does not do anything good. Like people, like if you've been a people pleaser, or like a quote unquote like super nice person, you've realized people don't respect you, people don't like you. It's like it just doesn't. People don't value you, and you're wondering why, or why you're not attractive with females, and it's because of this. It's because we're too fucking nice, But what nice is not nice. It's we have no self-respect. We don't know how to assert ourselves. We are pushovers. We're people pleasers, and that's not nice. It looks nice, but it's not nice. And so anyway, I got in this taxi, and this happened, and I was like the whole day thinking about it, like what the fuck, like why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that? Like I should have done. Like the guy had such a negative vibe. Like and I was like thinking what I could have done, what I did wrong. So it's like many things I learned from that. Like I should have, because I felt the bad vibes immediately. I should have like disengaged. Like I shouldn't have like had a conversation with him. And then I felt like more negative vibes, and I shouldn't like. I kept forgiving him because that's like one of my spiritual beliefs is like forgiveness, and that works against you when you're being like or have like this nice cage. You're in the nice cage because you're like, oh, I should just forgive. I should. Well, no, because you also have to. You also have to be stand up for yourself and express yourself. It's not like you have to. Something is like you can't bottle up all this and push down, and just try to forgive everything. It's a horrible way to live. I just realized it, and but I realized it more deeply this time, especially after reading this book. But anyway, after this taxi incident, because here in Romania, people are kind of like more up in your face. Like if they're really nice, they're gonna be really nice. But if they're like assholes, they have no problems being assholes. Like, and when I came here, like I was being like super apologetic, and I quickly lost it because I realized like here people complain so much, especially like drivers and all this, that I kind of like realized like, oh, it's not personal. We're back home. Like if somebody complains to your face, it's like so rare that if it happens, you're like shook by it. Especially if you're like a people pleaser, like I am or was, or hopefully will get out of. But the idea is that so I started to become a little bit less like people pleasing and started to take it less personal, but it was still like I wasn't still prepared for, like I was still having my old habits. And I'm happy that I'm here because one of the things I've always said that I wanted is I want to live in a place where people intimidate me, people challenge me, people make me grow. And just the little while that I'm here, I'm already growing in many ways. I've already lost like almost 4 kilos in 3 or 4 weeks because the girls are so hot, and not only hot, but like because one thing is hot, the other thing is like I'm attracted to them because they can be hot, like beautiful, but they might have like shit personalities, or they might have like really arrogant or whatever, mentality that I'm like put off by it. But here, like they're beautiful, they're humble, they're nice, the personality is awesome, like everything I like about them, and that somehow triggered me to, get serious about weight loss, and I already lost almost 4 kilos in around 3.5 weeks. My goal was to lose 1 kilo per week, and I've been successful at that so far, and I'm happy, and I feel confident that I will continue on this weight loss in the right and hit my goals. But anyway, so I really thought about this taxi thing. I said to myself, I'm not gonna be a pushover. I'm not gonna like agree with everyone or try to be friendly or be afraid of like confrontation or this and that. And yesterday I went to the sauna here in my apartment. There's like a little sauna, and there's like a little club and like a gym, sauna, whatever. And I went to the sauna, and I was just sitting there. There was these two guys talking, and then one of the guys, they left the sauna, and I went and I poured more water with the rocks. And when the guy came back, he asked me in Romanian if I wanted to put more water on the rocks, and I just said no, sorry, I don't speak Romanian. He's like, oh, where are you from? But just when he asked like where I'm from, I already felt like bad vibes, and I said where I was from, and then he's like, oh really? Oh cool. What are you doing here? And because I learned, because here, like if I say to people, I've already happened to me a few times where they ask me like, oh, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I came to live here. And they're like, oh, you should, like, this is a horrible country, like you shouldn't come here, like this country's like the Romanians talking bad about Romania, and I understand what they mean. You know, like this is not a perfect country, but trust me, you know where I'm come from is like 10 times worse. But either way, like I get out like these negative conversations where people are like persuading me to leave and shit. So I was like, and this happened with the taxi guy. He's like, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I came to here." He's like, "Why? Why did you do that?" And then he's like, you know, but he like with his broken English, he's like, "Yeah, right now it's good for tourists, but in the future it's not gonna be good." And I was like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" And like all these weird things. Like he said he wanted like to kidnap people. Like there was this fucking weird guy, and I just like trying to find the like okay, trying to find the positive, trying to befriend him or whatever. So fucking stupid. But anyway, um, coming. I don't know where I was going with that, but coming back to the sauna incident. So this guy starts asking me like, oh, he asked me if I'm what I'm here doing, and I just said tourism, because I wasn't gonna be like I live here, and then he's like, why do you live here? So I was just tourism. Easily they can say, yeah, I'm just gonna be here, and I go quickly. So it's like they don't have to, because it already happened a few times where they're like, why do you come here to live? Like this is such a shit country. Like, and I agree, because not that I think it's a shit country, but I understand they're saying like the wages are really low. They are low, but I work online, so. But it's like, anyway, I don't need the fucking debate about whether I should be here or not with some stranger. So I just decided tourism. So this sauna guy said tourism. He's like, oh, okay. And then next thing he says, he's like, do you believe in God? And I was like, and I remembered like being more assertive. Like, I was like, why? Why? He's like, well, beloved, because I believe in God. So I want to know, and I'm like, I don't know if I asked him one more time, like why, or I think I just said like yes. But I was more assertive than before, because like this guy was like a religious fanatic. He was like Pentecostal, whatever the fuck is that name. And so I started like, cause he's like, yeah, this and that, and I was like debating him. So before I was like, when somebody talked about religion or God or whatever, I would try to like find the common grounds, like, and act like if I'm kind of the same as them, even though I'm not, and try in my mind to look for the similarities, because I'm like, at least we're similar in some ways. But then this guy was just like debating every point he had, and he was trying to be like manipulative, and I was like just arguing every point, and telling him like not everybody thinks like that. You know, there's different beliefs and stuff like that. So at the end, I reached the point with him where he kind of gave up, and I realized like that's kind of like an important part with this like you know, kind of like manipulative. Even though he thinks he's doing good, he's trying to manipulate me like into basically, you know, his religion or whatever. He's like, you know, is Jesus Christ your savior? I'm like, why? Well, because I believe as like, yeah, I believe in him, but why the fuck? Either way, you know, I was much more assertive than before. It was good because he was with another guy. The other guy stayed quiet, but I kind of just felt the vibe like the other guy, like I made myself like felt like he knew that he couldn't just say shit to me and I would agree. Like I would question him, you know, I would debate him. I wasn't gonna give him so easy as before. It was just so easy, just give them so easy. And then what happens is like these people really are not you know, and it's not just religious fanatics. It's like there's many types of different like kind of assholes like this, or crazy people, like they have like an agenda or something. And anyway, what happened was the guy kind of like gave up and kind of like eventually stopped talking to me. But I realized like I gave him like there was a negative consequence to his disrespectful ways. You know, he it's basically conditioning. So he came out with this like religious intensity, and he was met by another force that pushed back. So eventually he's like, it's not worth like I'm not gonna get my religious dopamine of trying to save somebody else or whatever, what the fuck is going through their mind with this guy. I'm gonna get debates, I'm gonna get confrontation, I'm gonna get questioned, and so I saw kind of in his mind where it switched some flip where it's like, I don't need to like, this is not profitable to talk to this guy about this. And I felt that the other guy, I don't know, I intuitively felt like the other guy respected me, or at least knew that he's not gonna, because I don't know if the other guy is also like a religious fanatic or whatever, because he didn't say anything. But at least I felt like this other guy also knows that I'm not gonna put up with that shit, you know? Like I'm not gonna, because this guy had like all these little manipulative arguments to try to get me to agree, and I'm like, yeah, but no, like, still, like, I learned a lot from this, because I was still like, why did I tell him where I was from? Why did I talk to him? Like, I should have felt the bad vibes and disengaged. Sorry, dude, I don't want to talk right now, or something like this, like, because I could have like saved the whole thing, or if when he asked me like, do I believe in God, like, I shouldn't, even though I questioned him, I should have, like, that was good, that was a good step, but I should have I shouldn't have told him, because in a way I validated what he wanted to hear by telling him. So by answering his questions, it's kind of like a way to validate, or kind of like he gets like a dopamine, because he has something he wants to know, and then he knows it. But if I don't need to fucking tell him if I believe in God or not, you know? And I should have never told him if I believed or not, and left that emptiness, that, you know, like that vacuum, because it was wrong for him to know, and I don't need to fucking tell him if I do or not. And I should have just kept questioning him, like, why are you asking me these questions? I barely know you. Like, why do you want to know? What the fuck? And then I should have just quickly said, sorry, dude, like, honestly, I'm not in the mood to talk right now, or whatever. And then cut it off. But definitely, it was a step in the right direction. But so I came back from the sauna feeling really, I was kind of feeling half good, half bad. I wasn't feeling as bad as with the taxi guy, that I felt like really like all this like negative pent up emotion of like, I don't know, like this, it's like some type of like anger with myself, with him. I didn't feel that much, but I still felt some of it. And I was like, you know what, dude, fuck, I need to reread assertiveness and make it something that I'm gonna practice, you know. So yesterday, you know, I wrote down the situation, because I downloaded a few books about assertiveness, and quickly read one of them. Was really short and kind of a little superficial, but one of the things it said was it was like, have an assertiveness journal. So that's kind of what I did. I wrote down what happened, you know, what I could have done wrong, what I did wrong, what I did right, because I did do many things wrong, you know, but I did do some things right. But I learned from it, and I feel better, because I know that next time, you know, I'm gonna be more assertive, and it feels good, because like it's not being nice, like trying to be nice. What ends up happening is that you basically become like this beta bitch that everybody walks over, nobody respects, and you're just people pleasing. It's such a horrible place to be in, and I finally fucking realized it. And it's not about being an asshole or being a jerk, but it's about not being, like, it's being nice from a place where it comes from your heart, not because you're forcing it, because you want the other person to think you're nice. You don't want to cause any friction. Like, this is what happened yesterday with the taxi guy. Like, he said all this bullshit, and I caused like zero friction with him. I was like trying to befriend him, and I kind of did befriend him at the end. I think he was like, why the fuck is this guy being nice to me? So at the end, like, I kind of did befriend, like he did like me or something, or he did, I don't know. But what this happened with the sauna guy is that I gave him friction. It's like you come up with this like religious shit, you're gonna get friction, you're gonna get questioned, you're gonna get put into an uncomfortable position, and then the other guy learned from that. That's gonna permeate somehow in my vibe and in the gym, because and this guy feels like I'm a pushover. He can talk to me like this, and I'm nice. And then if I see him in the lockers and he continues that vibe, the rest of the people are gonna realize that I'm like that. So it's like then suddenly you become this beta bitch that nobody likes, because nobody likes a fucking pushover, people pleaser, super nice guy, you know, because it's fake, you know. If it's 100% genuine, then it's okay. But if somebody's being like an asshole, like unless you're like some kind of enlightened person that doesn't bother you, even then you would still have to, you know, somehow acknowledge or confront or say, you know, acknowledge the negative behavior. You can't just like imagine, like if you see something, you're seeing it, you know, even if you don't feel anything, it's still wrong. But anyway, at the end I did feel like this guy's kind of like respected me a little bit more. And then I was like, my fucking people pleasing instinct is like, when I left the sauna before them, I was gonna say like goodbye. Like sometimes I say that, like, you know, when you go in or out, I was like, fuck it. And I didn't say it. I felt good, because if I said like goodbye, like it would be kind of like a people pleasing thing. But because I went out and did not say goodbye, it's like, yeah, it was not cool what you did, bro. And I don't care about pleasing you. I don't care about being nice with you. And that automatically is better. That automatically makes people like you more, respect you more. And it's funny how that fucking works. But anyway, and then I was like so thinking about this that I accidentally grabbed one of those guys' towels and went to the locker with one. I had two towels. The one I was using for to dry myself, and the other one that I was using to put on the on the bottom of the thing. So I went out of the thing. I put my wet towel on the thing. I dried it with my own towel, and then I accidentally grabbed the other guy's towel. So I didn't really use it. But then I went to the locker and I realized, like, fuck, this is not my towel. So I went back, put back the towel. The guys were still in the vapor. And I thought to myself, like, okay, I'm going to go in and tell them, like, sorry, dude, I grabbed your towel, but I didn't use it. I was like, fuck that. So I just, like, left his towel where it was, came back with my towel. You know, did they notice? Did they not notice? Who cares? But it's like all these little pussy beta mentalities that are like the nice, quote unquote, trying to be nice programming that we've had. And I was just thinking about this last night in my bed, like how like we're so programmed in so many different ways. And one of the ways, like, is this nice concept, like wanting to be nice, wanting people to think that we're nice. It's such a like it's like everything, all the other programmings and all the other temptations, they sound superficially nice, but like underneath, it's all it does, it removes power from you and it cripples you and it puts you like in this horrible position, and it doesn't work. So it's like I was like, wow, I thought I was kind of like free from the matrix. I was like, you know, I have deprogrammed myself from many like things, but I was like, wow, maybe this is the biggest thing, because this permeates everything, every interaction, every way that you conduct yourself. I mean, this attitude or this belief about being nice, wanting to be nice, and you know, it's like you shouldn't want to be nice. Like, you have to read this book, Not Nice, because it explains it much better. Like right now, it sounds like, why wouldn't you want to be nice? It's like, you know, obviously that's okay, but the goal shouldn't be like, our goal when we are with people is like, our main goal is to be nice. Our main goal should be to express ourselves in a correct manner. and whatever happens on the other side shouldn't concern us. Like if the people, like our main goal is to be nice. It's not to fucking enjoy a social interaction. It's not to, if you're a people pleaser, of course, if it's like you're always trying to befriend them, give a positive impression, make them feel like no friction, make them feel like whatever. It's like you're not enjoying yourself. That's number one. That should be number one. Enjoying yourself in a respectful manner, asserting yourself in a respectful manner, in a correct manner. So with this guy yesterday, like I was maybe more assertive. I don't know if this guy has is like that, or he could like feel from me like maybe like beta vibes. So that's why he went like so quickly to say like, do you believe in God? Maybe he wouldn't have said it if I was like super jacked up and had a different vibe. But anyway, like maybe I was more assertive than this guy. Like maybe he hasn't been questioned like that, because the way he said it, like seemed like he's never been questioned about why are you asking me this question, because I did tell him like that's personal, like that's like, you know what I mean, like that's none of your business. But I should have actually said that's none of your business. But anyway, where was I going with that? Fuck, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, oh yeah, so I did cause some friction with this guy, like, and I and that's good, because they also respect you more. You know, nobody likes the pushover beta. Like it's fake, it's boring. It's also passive aggressive, because you're being nice, but if you, in your mind you're thinking negative thoughts, the other person feels somehow the negative vibe. And then it's like they don't like you as well because of that. But if you have like something negative and you say it, and then there's like a conflict resolution, then there's a good vibe. Then the guy knows why the bad vibe happened. There was a conflict resolution which strengthened the relationship. Versus you never say anything, you get the resentment, the bad vibes, because you're not expressing yourself. The other person feels something wrong. They also don't respect that you know that you're being fake subconsciously, and they don't like you. So it's like being nice or trying to be nice, you know, it just backfires in every fucking way possible. You're living in a cage. Or anyway, I was saying that, you know, I thought to myself, how you know, how sorry, I'm getting how we've been programmed, and this program about being nice, being fear of being criticized, being called names, being you know, all these things took all our power from us and made us into miserable little pieces of shit, passive aggressive, and then you realize you're not enjoying social interactions. You're afraid all the time because people are gonna react negative to you. And this is one of the things yesterday, like when I was in the sauna, there was something in me that I said to myself, like, I don't give a fuck if this guy likes me. I don't care if like I befriend him or not. And I don't care if it's like, so it's like kind of and if it's freeing to, it's very freeing to think that like to don't care if the guy likes you, before you're all obsessed if the guy likes you, and then you're like people pleasing them and they don't like you, and then you don't like them because they don't like you. So it doesn't work. But if you don't give a fuck if they like you or not, and you assert yourself, now they like you. And now you might like them because they like you, or they at least respect you, but you still like yourself. And so yeah, I mean, there's so many things to it, but I'm gonna start this assertive journal and analyzing this, you know, all these little interactions. Romania is a perfect place for this because people are very in your face. They are very in a good and bad way, you know. I would say like 80% of the people are fucking super cool, super nice, and then there's like 20%, which is a lot, but these 20% are like empowered. You know, it's not like other places like that. Those like assholes or whatever, those or those bad people in a way, are like well, I don't know if to say bad, but this kind of like line pushers or whatever. This type of people are like not. They are like the passive type, but here no, they are very outspoken. So tons of way of time, like tons of, and that's the other thing, that because I come from a place where people are so people pleasing that confrontation is so like rare, that if you are like a little confrontational, people are like so shook by it that you kind of like don't want to even be confrontational, because it's like you're not, I don't know, it's like so rare in a way. I don't know, maybe it's probably an excuse, but here it's so common that I feel a little bit more confident to, you know, they're so used to getting criticizing other people, like this confrontation, that it's a perfect place to practice assertiveness. And it feels amazing, and it's a long road, like all this people pleasing, all this bullshit niceness, like disgusting, and it's gonna take a long time to get out of it. But you know, I did get a nice like I get a lot of lessons just from yesterday's sauna incident. And I feel that I'm kind of excited for the next time it happens, because I want to get good at it. You know, I don't want to engage or talk with people that are bad vibes. You know, I don't like, even if it's nice. Like this guy is one of my videos of first impression from Romania. I met the security guard, and he was one of the guys that I told, like, yeah, I came here to live. He's like, no, this is a horrible country, blah, 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 and all this like negativity. I make so little money. And I was just kind of like, I liked the guy. You know, he was an old man, but, you know, he's a good guy. You can see like in his eyes the goodness. But I'm like kind of being polite and being nice, listening to all like those negativity about Romania. And I shouldn't need to, because I was kind of like, didn't want to say like, oh, I have to go, or, you know, let's talk about something else or whatever. So I just stand there and listen to all this kind of, this guy like this negativity. And when I left there, I felt so negative, and I felt so like he kind of like took away kind of like the nice energy I felt about it. I was like, because I've been in Romania for just like 2 or 3 days. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I like this country. And then I meet this guy. But it was my fault that I let it happen. That I talked to the guy, and he was really nice. But as soon as he first of all, I made a mistake when I said I'm gonna come live here, because then it's like I gave them the opportunity to give their opinions on that when I'm still kind of new in that. Because it's different if I say, well, I've been living here for many years, versus I just came here to live. But anyway, as soon as this guy started telling me all this negative, I should have like felt the negative vibe, cut him out, cut the conversation immediately, either change the subject to something positive, or say, sorry dude, I have to go, or whatever, and not be afraid if it looked obvious that I didn't like the negative vibe, or not be afraid if I hurt this guy's feelings, or he feels bad because I didn't want to talk to him anymore. Because that's what I'm thinking, like I'm being too fucking nice, and it's stupid. I'm not being nice to myself, you know, and then I get out of this place with this bad vibe, and then I transfer that bad vibe to other people. So it's like, what's the fucking point of it? So, you know, I'm learning, I'm getting better. I'm gonna do this assertiveness journal. I made it into one of my endeavors. I'm gonna continue reading this book, and I'm gonna basically practice, and it's extremely liberating in many ways, and it's like, wow, this is why I've been having difficulty being humorous, being like, I don't know, like I felt something was wrong with me somehow. Like, why do people don't like me, or what? It's you're being too nice, too people pleaser, you know. And then now even this guy, after all this like debating, I just felt in his body language, even though after we stopped speaking, I felt he respected me somehow. or he liked me some more. Like when people like, because we know when we are wrong, even if we don't know it consciously, we kind of know it subconsciously. Like this guy knows subconsciously that asking me if I believe in God and all this, like he knows that he's kind of like imposing himself on me, and by me giving him resistance, like he respects me because I reacted in the correct way to his bullshit. So, and I respect myself more. The other guy respects me more. Everything is just is better, and oh my god, like I can't believe I was so programmed by this by society. It's so disempowering, and it's such a cage. It's such a horrible way to live. And I'm excited on this like journey of regaining or reclaiming my power and my, not giving a fuck what people think. Being, people should not be afraid of you, but should know that, there's a consequence, that you're someone that they can't manipulate or bullshit, that they're gonna get called. People don't want to get called out. People don't want to get questioned. They just in many ways they're selfish, because this guy has like this religious agenda, right? So he's like, I just want to get my religious fulfilled needs. Is this guy believes in God? Is he believes Jesus is his savior? If yes, if no, then I'm gonna convert him, and I'm gonna get like my dopamine because I did what my religion told me to do in my cult, that was to convert the non-believers. But if he goes with me and instantly he gets like pushed back and questioned, like questioning not only his religion, but his morals, or why are you doing this? Why do you feel that, like, why? And then he's getting, now he has to question himself. Now, like, I'm introducing doubt. Like, he doesn't want any of that. So, I mean, I would have liked to done it much more, and I will next time. But yeah, I'm reclaiming or coming back to assertiveness, and I didn't really understood it really well before, because I didn't understand, like, this book Not Nice made me realize, because I read a few chapters of other books on assertiveness, but this book of Not Nice talks about how niceness itself is the illusion or the cage where basically all our unassertive beta fear beliefs kind of like take hold in. And in the other assertive books or videos that I've watched, it doesn't really focus too much on the niceness aspect of it. They don't mention it too much. Like, they do, but there wasn't that emphasis that this guy made, and it's holy fuck, like shit. I'm blown away by how wrong I was, how much this has been affecting me. Like, even yesterday, the cleaning lady comes. She charged me more than I thought she should, and I didn't say anything because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be nice because she's probably struggling. Like, I shouldn't be bargaining or whatever. But that left me a resentfulness because I didn't feel that I paid too much. I didn't even say it. So I get this resentful. She feels resentful, and it's worse versus speaking it out and then having a confrontation, and then maybe she can say, okay, we can reduce the price, or she can explain, no, this is the reason why this is priced, or whatever. But so being nice is just a farce. It's the biggest farce ever. I think it's like one of the biggest problems we have. We're always like self-correcting, self-apologizing. And even in this fucking book about Not Nice, the guy is like apologizing all the time and trying like this, like what I call like the cool teacher tone in this book's like, hey guys, like when you read a book from, I don't know, like when you read a book from, because I've read old books like the book was like written in a very high level way of expressing, like very, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like a conversation. It's more like, I don't know, it's not like some cool guy talking to you, hey guys, like saying jokes on the book. Like, I mean, that's a comedy book, but if you're talking about a book like a more serious topic, like I don't like this nice, like, making jokes and, oh, you have this I don't know, like this little, and then so even I was like, wow, like even the guy writing this fucking book still is suffering from it, because he was like a super nice guy that realized all these things going through, like, he did like pickup, he did seduction, he did a lot of like training and like programs, but even him, like his nice tone, like trying to be cool and all this, like I was like, ugh. And then he's like explaining things too much, because some topics are obviously controversial, like saying like you shouldn't be nice obviously is like controversial, but it's like after a certain point, like we get it. So it's like the guy is like over explaining many things. I don't know, it's like I realized like skipping over paragraphs, and I'm like, why am I skipping over paragraphs? It's because he's explaining too much. He's being like too nice, too kind of like trying to, like, I don't need you to explain every little thing. If it's like, how can I say? Like, just get to the fucking point. Don't worry if, like, we're all adults. You don't have to make sure every little thing is not misunderstood. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of text that is not necessary. So it's like you're kind of look after a while. It's like, God damn, this is getting repetitive. And this whole paragraph to say like this single point. This point was like explaining and, kind of like this like cool guy, like, I know, like, wishing this, but this and that. Like, I don't know. I hope you can understand what I mean. But I was like, wow, even in his fucking book, I can see, because I'm like woke. I'm awoken to this bullshit, and and I realized, yeah, like even this guy, like if he was more like to the point, I wouldn't be skipping over what he's saying, because he's a lot of fluff, and kind of like that's what being nice is. It's a lot of fluff. It's like, we want real, and one of the things he said is that the opposite of nice is real. Tell me the real shit. Don't tell me all these things because you don't want to be thought of as bad. And that's kind of what I'm like. I say something, but there's this and that. You're always like saying all these caveats, all these little explanations, all these little, like, because you want to make sure that the other person thinks that you're not unreasonable, or that you're not a racist, or you're not a this, or you're not a that, and that all comes from the desire that the other person likes you. So if you remove that, it's like, I'm gonna be like I am, and if you don't like me, then I don't like you. We don't have to fucking be friends, and we don't have to get along. We don't have to talk. Like, if I need to change the way I am so that you approve of me, then who the fuck are you that I need to change to approve of you? Like, especially with these strangers, it's like they're nobody. You don't know them. There's nothing that they have no significance in your life, and then you're changing yourself to please them. But it's like this people pleasing mentality is so ingrained in us. It's probably all in the TV. It's probably everywhere in the school. Like, it's just something that, oh, holy shit! Like, it's scary to think, like, especially in the West here. Like, obviously people are not that people pleasing, but it's I think it's the worst way to live life. I mean, it's sad. It's horrible in so many ways, but fuck. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be talking a lot more about this.